So I'm here to talk through the statue park variation by Murat Can Tonta, which is a half and half with no circle clues. I was pretty sure when Jin Huan, I think it was Jin Huan, debuted this style over a year ago that eventually someone would come back and make something that doesn't look much like a statue park puzzle but solves like one. And I guess Murat's made that the sort of story for today, and a really great week of statue puzzles. Looks like it's going to be an interesting puzzle. One thing I see right away, and this is a little bit of my constructor's intuition going at this, is that when all these regions are tetromino shaped, there's not a lot of tension on a given region with the cells it's going to use. If these regions were larger than the shapes we're putting into them, or like very super straight or anything else, there'd be a lot here. But there's a global constraint I'm curious about. There are 10 tetrominos to place, 40 cells to mark. So let's sort of just come through and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm trying to get up to 20. 20 plus 2 cells in each, sorry, 20 times 2 cells in each would be 40. Would give me a kind of key constraint here. So anyway, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There are 20 regions in this grid. They'll each have 2 cells. That is 40 cells. That is the whole piece shape. So the first step in this puzzle is to recognize that the grid has white cells outside of where any region boundaries are, and that's going to be important to look at. And when I then look at that, I've got like a map of risk, and here's Australia down in the corner. It's going to have 2 pieces on the right side of this L shape coming in. It's going to take this cell. That now makes it look like it has an S or L shape, but it's always going to mark this off. And this is a statue park still. This white cell has to escape. So this L is for sure. Marks these off. I now got a new continent like Australia that still has to like get out and use these 2 cells. I actually didn't mark this one in white. I should. That puts this in. We're now going to get an S or an L over here. Notice that this L marks off too many shapes from that. So this is an S. This L has to extend up somewhere. And let's mark in the tetrominos we've made. So we got this L and this S. This is now an L or an I, but the white cells have to stay apart. So that comes up like this. This cell must absolutely be used. These are in white, but these cells can be marked in. Here's still the cells getting out. That puts in this. It marks off this cell as useful for this space, but we still have some considerations like this. These 3 cells will have to have a tetromino somewhere around them. And is it the case that if we like don't take this cell, we can get, you know, an S marked in here? That doesn't work with the group up above. And that means we always have to take this cell. If we take the cell, we always have to take one more in this group, so we don't take this one. So here's an L up top. That marks off these cells from the whites. Staying connected gets an I in the grid. So we now have 2 I's, 2 L's, and an S. So we've got an S, 2 T's, and an O to place. Here are 2 cells that must be marked. It's going to take the last 2 from this tetromino up above. If it took all the way to here, that's another L. We've got that in the grid. So this is either an S or a T. Don't know too much more than that, except we always take this cell. If we don't take that cell, we make an L. This S tetromino has these 2 cells must be used, as well as this one. It can be a T, it can be an S, those all look okay. Notice now across this, we've got S and T. We really don't have O's anywhere, so O's are going to be a thing we want to look at and think about. And O can't be in this tetromino down here either, though, so that's going to be a little tricky. How's that going to work? Well, if it used these cells, we'd be in trouble because we've isolated the lower left corner. So it uses this cell. It may use 1 more from this, and it's then going to take, looks like it'll have to be 2 from the tetromino above, but can't be all the way over to here. So we're at a point where this is going to be T or S like, this is T or S like, this is T or S like. The only things I haven't marked in are O's, and the only regions that they can be coming through are these. So what I don't want to do is take any more cells elsewhere in the grid that are in blue right now. So this will be a T, which is fine. I want to get 2 O's. This is an O in blue, and this is another O in blue. And those are the only options really left for me at this moment. So that looks good. That marks these off. This now is coming down. We don't want to have closures. This is a T, and that means this final one is an S. And we finished this phenomenal circle-less puzzle by Murat Can Tonta. So hope you've been enjoying this week. Hope you've been enjoying the different challenges that come up with Statue Park. This is an example where one genre with very different constructor ideas can do so much of intrigue. So thanks again for a great puzzle, Murat. Thanks for you all for listening to this video. We'll see you again soon.